they're counting. Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Masuri Balde. We are back again on another edition of QTV this morning. So how are you doing? Thank you to all our followers, on our social media handles. And, those who send comments as well, contribution to this program. And today on the program, I am so excited to have Julde Njai.
Thank you,
Julde, how are you?
It's a pleasure.
It's good to have you here.
It's a pleasure, Balde. I love sharing this platform with you, especially if Mr. Mboje is here. But unfortunately, he's not here. But someone who is more special than Mr. Mboje is here with us.
Exactly.
Who is my very own dad. Good morning, viewers, from wherever you're watching us from. It's always good to be back in this platform. Dilen jaajëfal bu baax a baax. Dilen wax ne nama naa leen xam naa ne tamit namoon ngeen ma lool waaye dellu si na.
Exactly. So be reminded today on the program, we'll be talking to MS Mohamed Esba. He is our newspaper review guest. And, as you know, when we talk about Mohamed Esba, we think about GPU.
Sure.
Well, we will also be discussing certain things with him, the outgoing
yeah.
president of the Gambia Press Union. And I can see he democratically handed over power without clinging into power.
No, Democrat la.
Without refusing to go. It starts from the grassroots, my brother. So good morning. How are you?
Good morning. It's a pleasure having me with my beautiful daughter.
Yes, it's good to have you here. So we'll be discussing the newspapers, and of course we'll also be talking about the Gambia Press Union, your achievements. I can remember the day you were voted in. I was wondering, is it 3 years already?
3 years ago, yeah.
Time goes very fast now. I can remember when you were voted in and we invited you.
Yeah.
Is it on Sunyugale?
Yeah.
Sunyugale. I think that was the first time.
Yeah, and I think I was the first guest of this morning show.
On this morning, exactly.
I was the first guest.
So you can see how I was just thinking this is yesterday, and time goes. That's why we shouldn't procrastinate. Let's keep doing what we are supposed to do on time, because time waits for no man.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
So Julia, what's the proverb?
So, Balde, our proverb this morning reads, "Do good to others, it will come back in an unexpected way." Do good for others, it will come back in an unexpected ways. I like this proverb.
You want me
I want you to go first.
Do good to others.
It will come back.
It will come back
in an unexpected way.
Yeah, absolutely. They always say the life you live is the life that you will definitely get. So whatever you do, if it is good, it comes back. It comes back to you. When it is bad, the same thing. So whatever you do, yes, obviously, the proverb is very important. I think in terms of making sure that you always do the right thing and good things to people. You have empathy.
Sure.
You have a sense of humanity. And humility as well. So yeah, obviously it's a straight shot rather. Yeah, the proverb has already interpreted itself.
But in fact, MS, all the time the good you do for other people, doesn't come, all the time. Sometimes
it must come.
Sometimes you will hear at some point someone will say, Luma sacrifice at some point.
Yeah, but it will come in another way around. If the person is not paying you back, but you are not also doing good for people to pay back,
Sure.
to give you
Sure.
good. So you're just doing it out of your own courtesy, out of humanity.
Sure.
If you expect something from people, you are always disappointed.
No, gratitude.
It's important.
It
But
is.
if people
have
it's not
expectation.
You should not expect that people, when I do good to you, you have to pay back. Then it becomes an expectation, then you are disappointed. For me, if I do things, I do it just for the sake of doing them, to ensure that yes, this is the right thing and it is good.
Sure.
It's also bad to disappoint people. When people do good to you, you have to extend, or at least show gratitude. But that doesn't mean that the doer should always expect good from people. It's human nature.
It's human nature. And
yeah.
I mean, for me, I think it always comes back in an unexpected way.
Yes.
One, it's either the people that you extend kindness to, reciprocate, or if you do it for the sake of Allah, Allah will always give it back to you. Allah, it's fair. So, I mean, it's always good to do what is good. Do not mind what people are telling you. Okay, if they do bad, I mean, that is normal. We always do things to people, good things, of course, and then they reciprocate in a very bad manner, in a very bad way, and we are disappointed. But that is human nature.
Yeah,
people are always bound to do one or two things that are not good, of course. But you, as a human, just do what is right. If they do what is bad, they think, okay, this is their time to shine. They do it, but always it has a way of coming back to them, whether they tell you or not, whether you know it or not. But it will always come back to them. So lu def lu baax rek mo gana am solo. Whether ñi mu defal la lu bon nga defal ko lu baax tay mu defal la lu bon wala mu or la baye ko ak Yalla, man dal fofu la ko tie. Whether wax na la ko or waxut la ko, always it will come back to them to haunt them. So that is just it.
So what is the good will come back to you? I mean, we've seen good people. They've suffered and died. I mean, very good people. We all can attest, okay, these are very good people. They've been here, they've struggled a lot. They've gone through so many ups and downs until they died. I mean, can we say, okay, these people, the good they've done have come back to them?
Yeah, but they are still alive. They are more alive than people that are walking alive.
Sure.
I can tell you that.
How?
Sure.
Yeah, how is a person dead and still alive?
Of course. People like Nelson Mandela, Deda Haidara,
they are alive, yes.
Whenever you say Deda, like, people want to associate themselves with Deda. People are inspired, because even for 100 years to come, someone somewhere would want to be like Deda Haidara and do the right thing. So their names are still alive. Like, people are living, but they are not alive. They are living dead.
They are living dead. Trust
like
me,
if you talk about them, people just say, come on, forget about it. You understand what I'm saying? So your legacy lives, and you have touched the lives of a lot of individuals. So it's the name. Look at Nelson Mandela. Everybody wants to be like Nelson Mandela. Even you are giving a reference of a good leader. Not that he's perfect, but he did something extraordinary, and then some people even did greater things than Nelson Mandela, but because of the things that they did after that, their names, people don't want to associate themselves with them.
Absolutely.
So it's like, your legacy goes beyond
yourself.
Yes.
It involves people.
So
the impact that you have on the lives of people determine your legacy, even when you are alive or dead. We've seen people here, for instance, who are so great, who are doing so well, but call and wax rek diw daf de wax ne koku mom bay ko mu séda, koku mom bopam rek, wala koku mom dafa bon, wala self-interest person, wala that person always bring other people down. We've seen people like that. So they don't expect any legacy. Of course, they have done well for themselves, but fofu la em. Though they can didn't praise wala mu anything good about them, because it's just about them. So legacy is very important. Always, right? Sometimes in Africa, I think some of our leaders are allergic to good legacies. You see some of these leaders who do so well. Why office you did something that is so bad, and then that goes on.
Legacy goes down the drain. So. And then that's the point. Even if you die, people are inspired. And for 100 years, centuries, people want to be like you. They will reference you. They will celebrate you. They will, like they want to be like
Yeah.
comme Balde nu baaxee nii rek su demee sax dinañ wax ne doomam yi sax dañoo wax ne Balde yow sa papa ku baax la
jàmbaar la
lii la so doom yi dañ dee am dara because of seen parents yi luñ ji you know sa parent bi dafa baax torop lii la fi def léeg-léeg la fi def
so motivating me to do more
absolutely you're good mashallah
am naa ñoo xam ne ñooñu dañoo taxaw ci ne Balde du boole ñu si kaw fii ñoom Mr. Cool
yeah well it's okay they will know that you are a good person
so in case I mean you're watching this program and you did not see coffee on our table this morning program without coffee, can you imagine?
Yeah, that's it's rare.
That's not this morning. That's this afternoon. I mean, it's all because of M. Jallo, Bakari Sane, you know, Aliou Jallo. You know, tabele swing coffee be nekuñ diko am si table be. So we are going to get coffee be dina ñëwaat. Yeah. So MS, let's move on. Let's talk about your mandate. You know, during your term, the Gambia Press Union, you are now leaving office for Miss Aissatou Keita, you know. Mansa Misla.
Yes, it's Miss.
I'm kind of in love with Aissatou Keita now.
Balde, don't go there.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's talk about, you know, your term. You know, what have you achieved at some point? What can you pinpoint and tell me, okay, this is what we've achieved during my tenure?
Yeah.
Bala success ambi. We would love to know sa experience be. How does it feel to be GPU president? Because both on them, you were so excited. You wanted to do a lot of things. While both are in the presidency, is there any time that you feel like, okay, I think this is something that I regretted doing?
Actually, I did not regret being a leader of the Gambia Press Union. It's an honor, really. You know, I was a vice president for 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, then I became the president for 3 years. So I've served for 4 years. So yeah, I've never regretted. What happened is it's hectic. It's a big job. Imagine you have to defend press freedom and freedom of expression. You have to also make sure that the welfare of journalists and media workers is catered for. You have to speak for people. You have to, you know, make sure that a lot of things are resolved. You have to make sure that the media works freely, you know, without any hindrance. We know how it works. So you have to also represent the union. You have to portray a good image, you know, make sure that even whatever you do, you have to realize that, hey, this is not just MS Ba speaking, but, you know, whatever. So I comport myself, even what I post online, I am measured. I don't want people to really see me
use that against.
Exactly, against the union. So you have to be very careful what to do, what not to do. And also, whenever a journalist is arrested, your conscience cannot just let you be. You have to be there to ensure that, you know, the issues are resolved. Sometimes you have to spend, you know, hours there negotiating, you know, trying to find out the facts and then making sure that things are done well. So we've done a lot of things. A lot of journalists have been where they were harassed during our tenure. A lot of achievement, though, in terms of press freedom, the index. We've worked with government in terms of the access to information. You know, when we were coming, the access to information was tabled before the parliament. So how to make sure that that bill passed through the stage from the parliament, then to ensure that after it was passed, we have to push to ensure that the implementation of the access to information is done, so which is the establishment of the commission. So it was something that, things that we can proudly say, yes, we contributed to its success. Now we have a commission, and also GPU having a land. For the first time, we ensure that there is a plan, like we understand, we want to clearly know what kind of a press complex do we want to see.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to contract someone to design, do the designing, and we have the design. So the design is already there. We also have to formalize the application, the land application, which we did through the government. We've paid the necessary thing, we did all the necessary work, and then we also reach out to partners to tell them this is our plan, because sometimes what happened in other countries, for example, during Ablai Wada's time, they had a project with the EU, they incorporated that press complex, you know, as part of the government project, because every democracy, you have to make sure that your press is strong.
Sure.
And obviously, when you talk about the press, you cannot leave GP away, because we are the ones behind, we are the wall, we are the ones making sure that nothing happened to journalists and media workers and the media. So we've gone to very advanced stage, at an advanced stage. That was the project that I was hoping that it will really be finalized during my tenure.
During your tenure.
Yeah, but for me, I believe leadership is continuation. So you don't need to be there to say, yeah, this thing has to happen. You have to set that foundation and make sure that other people continue from there, but they already have, you know, a strong foundation, a pillar where that a clear picture of how they want to, you know, where they want to go and move the union. So I'm hoping that in 2025 soon, the land will be allocated, and then we will renew our commitment towards with the partners. For example, the British High Commission, they secured a project for us after a series of engagement. You know, like nearly $10 million if you change. I think it's like 100 and something thousand pounds. That is rare. Nearly 8 to maybe $10 million to build to do the building.
Okay.
But
GPU company.
Yeah, but
where is it located?
No, initially, you know, it was a verbal stuff. They will say we allocate this land, and then later they will say, oh, it has been allocated to some to another guy. So we said, no, we cannot be like that. We'll allocate here. Why not we formalize it? We make sure it is documented. Everything is documented. When we have the land, we have the documents, and then we move forward. And I'm very sure that after having the land secured, because we want the land to be a big land, 50 by 50, we want to build Majak, school there. We want to build GPU.
Okay.
The GPU complex where all the affiliates will have their offices, and also freelance journalists and international journalists where whenever they come, they can have space. We also want to build the media council, like house the media council. So it will be like two building, like twin tower. It will be like a twin tower sort of. Very nice. If you go to the GPU, you will see the plan. So everything is set up there. So these are the things that we have done for the media, and we're hoping that the next leadership will take it to another level, obviously.
So in terms of financial sustainability and ensuring that you reduce the dependency to external donors, what has your executive done to ensure that there is that level of financial sustainability and also reducing your dependency?
Yeah, that is one of the things that we wanted to secure. That is the building project. Because we realized that now donors, the time, if you equate Jammeh's time and now, the interest in terms of giving out money to, you know, about press freedom, defending press freedom and stuff, it has gone down a bit. So what can we do to sustain the GPU? One thing is to ensure we have that press complex where we will have other facilities that will really secure funding for us. And secondly, also the renting part of it. We are renting office. The school also is renting a space.
Okay.
You know, so all those things will be kept, and it's a huge amount of money if you look at it. And another thing is we will also have for example, other equipment that we can utilize, cameras and stuff. People who have projects that they want to work on certain things and they cannot access certain equipment, we can just rent it out and get money. So another thing is having a, you know, a special fund from government, like they call it. Some in a democracy, obviously, they don't want to call it a government subvention. It's called special fund. So these are kind of things that we were working on, and we are hoping that it will really come to.
So how do you assess the relationship between media houses and Gambia Press Union?
It's very cordial. It's fruitful, because whenever we call. You know, on the media houses, and they need us. They need us most of the time when they are in trouble. They have to call the GPU. So the first people to think about is the GPU when you have a problem, or when you have a clash with authorities or so. So it's cordial, and anytime we call upon them, they are part of the GPU. They own the GPU, so GPU is not owned by individuals, you know, because I'm also a journalist and working as a journalist. So GPU is owned by everybody. So the only thing I will say is to increase the membership drive. Every journalist and media worker should try to subscribe to the GPU, you know, because it's important that now we are strictly going into our membership benefit policy. We have a policy.
Okay.
Because some of the members that are, you know, paying their dues, you know, they felt, why should I be a member? Like those that are not subscribing to the GPU.
They are benefiting.
The same, like us. So what is so special? So we say now we have to draft a comprehensive policy to make sure that whatever we are doing, first consideration should be members, paid up members. Yeah, and it's fair. Even the IFJ, you know, we are a member to the IFJ. We pay our dues as GPU, as member of the IFJ, one of the biggest federations in the world, and I'm part of the gender committee of the council. Yeah, as GPU president.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about diversity and inclusion of the media industry in the Gambia. During your tenure, what efforts have you done?
Diversity and inclusion, yeah, in all aspects we've done that. When we have revived the WOJA, the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, and now you can see women journalists all over, you know, and my successor is a woman. We have ensured that we created a platform for women to feel they should not like to see themselves as not just bystanders or onlookers, but to be part of the decision making process. So now you can see the mantle of leadership is going to a woman for the second time. You know, and also looking at the vibrantness of the women journalists. They are securing their own projects now. They are doing a lot of things. We've seen people like Julde, you know, very powerful in the media, you know, editors. We've seen women now rising to become editors, senior reporters, not just any other junior stuff, but if you have the capacity, we make sure. And also we have a collective bargaining document that we have comprehensively crafted and validated by everyone in the media to ensure that we promote capacity building and also making sure that the employer-employee relationship is clearly defined, and also a minimum wage, because imagine people are paid less than $50 per month. What is that? Less than 3,000. So we realize that that is not sustainable, and people are leaving the media houses. So what can we do to ensure that at least this thing goes up? So we had a collective bargaining document that will help the media houses to to understand the importance. And also based on your qualifications, we've done also various categories in terms of qualifications, both academic and experience-wise. So how much should you be paid annually in terms of your qualification? It's all mentioned in that document. All these documents are online on our website. If you go to www.gpu.gm, it is already there. So we've done a lot in terms of welfare and inclusiveness.
Have media houses adhered to?
Yeah. Some media houses are signing to it. Some that have not signed, we also realized, because it also gave us an understanding when we are engaging. Some of the media houses are there already, but some are still not there. But some have signed, and they are trying to work towards, meeting the standards. But we also observe some of the problems, because the collective bargaining has helped GPU to understand some of the issues. For example, you cannot just say increase your salary, but what is stopping you from increasing the salary? For example, some of the media houses, they don't even have a structural administration. So we were helping the media houses to have a proper financing system, documentation, and also resource mobilization. To mobilize resources. And that is why we said special funding also. We are pushing that to make sure that the media have special funding, and also tax waiver, like some of the materials that were, the tax that was increased on some of the material, the printing materials, because Jammeh did it deliberately to kill the media. For example, if you want to bring printed materials for newspapers, we know how government tax those materials, and also cameras, and anything that has to deal with media stuff. So we are also looking forward to make sure that at least the tax is a bit reduced, and the levies as well.
Has that been done, or it is an ongoing process?
Yeah. There are successes. For example, the education levy on the media was removed. The tax levy on the educational levy, there was a levy that government used to levy media, ask media houses to pay. That has been removed. But for this, some of these things are ongoing process. But I'm hoping that, because the foundation is already, so I'm hoping that the next leadership will really push.
So finally, before we head to the newspaper review, MS, today we'll keep you here longer than usual. Finally, what reforms do you think the new leadership should focus, as far as the Gambia Press Union is concerned?
Yeah, one is to increase the membership drive. We've during our tenure, before our leadership, I think GP was having like 200-300 thereabout members, I could recall. But now we can proudly say we have 600 plus registered members.
Okay.
So when we came, a lot of people came to register. So let them continue that momentum and make sure that people are registering and also paying their dues. Another thing is to push government, or to engage government to institutionalize, like to build the capacity of the Media Council and give it a legal standing, like, because it's a self-regulated body that was established by the JPU. But now to give it more powers, it has to, just like Kenya did, the Kenyan model, it's a very good model. Government had an act of parliament to establish that media council. Because when we met the President Barrow, he said, media cannot be giving a blanket check. There must be something before they repeal the laws. We told them there is a media council. Now why not you give powers to the media council and support the media council, give it a biggest capacity it needs. Then you don't need Pura to do the policing aspect of, like the ethics aspect of it, because we realize that sometimes the way Pura approaches these media houses is not appropriate. You know, sometimes
they are not media oriented. They don't know some of the.
Yeah, I think in terms of
yes,
content.
some of exactly. That's what I'm talking
content,
about.
Yeah, so you need media experts. You need human rights to use the human right angle, but not to just say it's a law. Yes, pam, you come and attack everybody. You know, not knowing the also giving value to the role of the media in a democracy.
True.
You know, it's very important to police, but it is also important to have that understanding in terms of press freedom and in freedom of expression as a human right, you know. So you cannot just come and then say you're policing. And also the laws, because the laws are archaic, the laws are very bad laws. Even despite they are the laws, yes, but these are laws that were inherited during the colonial era. Some of the laws are here for more than a century, more than a century rather. For example, the Criminal Code, which was enacted in 1933, the Official Secret Act in the 1920s. You know, some of the laws, the 1818 laws are here that are restrictive. Some of the laws that are, you know, really very bad. And also the reform of the GRTS, the Gambia Radio and Television Services. So these are the things that really the new executives should really push. All the recommendations are there. Everything is there. It's just to make sure that they've pushed this. And we also had an MOU that was validated. So it's just the signing between the GPU and the ministry to have a clear framework as to how we are going to engage and work as partners. It's already there, so it's just to push that to be into fruition. And also the special funding for media, that is the, you know, because media is a very key component in our democracy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the media is struggling, and if you look at the market, some of the media houses, obviously, they are a business and they have a media houses, and then they may not really go out to spend more money on media related stuff.
True.
Because they have internally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it becomes a problem. So how can we make sure that government
at least to balance
it? Yeah, government, Senegal is doing it. Senegal is giving over 3 to 4 billion CFA every year, you know, even more than that.
Well, we've even seen it recently.
I
mean, they've given a lot of money to the media.
That doesn't mean it's like it's government spoon feeding media. No, these are taxpayers' money. It's to ensure that the right to information, and people have also right to express their views and promote divergent and dissenting opinion in a democracy. So these are very important things.
Yeah, so let's move on. On your T-shirt, I'm saying Data Hydra 1946 to 2004.
2004, yeah.
Yes, I mean, when he was assassinated by the junglers of former President Yahya Jammeh. And on the paper here, I'm seeing government committed to providing justice for Jammeh's victims as well. So it's kind of connected. Yeah. So
yeah, it was yesterday when the Point newspaper was celebrating. They were celebrating the 20 years anniversary of
that's the
20th anniversary of Data Hydra.
Yeah.
And 33rd anniversary of the
Point newspaper.
You know, so we were talking about legacy. Data was gone down in 2004, and then on the 16th, December 2004, which was a serious issue, and during that time, and. The guy Sankare, the spokesperson, was there, and then people raised some of the concerns that despite the TRRC, the testimonies, still those that are perceived or that were seen to be found wanting of killing this great guy, you know, are still walking freely.
Freely.
Yeah, you know, in the streets. So they felt this thing is taking time. And also some people cited the goodwill from ECOWAS that they are going to support.
Is it a special tribunal?
Tribunal. But they feel it's like going in a snail pace. They felt it has to be, at least we now need to just go straight to the reforms, making sure that the transitional justice process is fast tracked so that victims can have justice. Then Sankare, also said, yes, government is working towards this, and then they are committed to ensuring that justice, the transitional justice obviously is seen to be successful. Yeah, government will always commit themselves, but the way and manner is the most important thing.
Implementation.
Yeah, the implementation, whether it will be now or when is it going to be. And also talking about this, part of which is the constitution. We need a constitution. I was privileged to facilitate one of the discussions. I think even the National Human Rights Commission did a great job with their communique, but still the conversation is on, where people think that they have that notion that when the constitution comes to the parliament, it will be politicized. And we had a discussion during the WFD, that is the Westminster Foundation for Democracy, one of their discussions last week. I was the one facilitating the program. And the National Assembly members were there with stakeholders, media, and civil society. And National Assembly gave an example. Some of them said mostly what happened is when they discuss these issues at committee stage, when they even have good resolutions, when they go to the plenary, it is politicized. So it's like us against you guys, and it depends on what the political party, the stance of the political party. For example, we've seen the UDP, who believes that the 2024 draft is not fit for purpose. We have to go back to the 2020. And now government is bringing the 2024 draft. So some people they are of the belief that, yes, it is not fit for purpose. Some said, let's allow it to flow, going through the committees, but they believe that even if we do all the consultations at the committee level, we bring our position papers and it is incorporated, when it comes to plenary, it becomes a problem, because now both the side of the aisle, the others are saying don't touch it, don't bring back the 2020. The other side is saying the 2024 draft is good, but people believe that it is highly diluted, because there are a lot of things that were in the 2020, for example, leadership and integrity. For example, the nominated members, for the parliament to be independent. But there, in the 2024 draft, you can see the president can hire and fire. Imagine questioning the checks and balances between the executive and the legislature. So people are saying that this is watered down and it doesn't meet certain minimums.
The standard.
That could allow the process. But for me, my interest is having a new constitution. Maybe people are even thinking about the government degazetting this one. I'm not sure how that will work, but degazetting it and saying, okay, now we are withdrawing it because it is not yet tabled before the parliament. Let's withdraw it and then go back to the people, build something like a constituent assembly, or allow an institution or few institutions to lead credible institutions. Like the National Human Rights Commission, Gambia Press Union can be part of it, the Bar Association, the civil society. Let them lead the process, maybe with international idea, because we believe they are also really trying. Let them come together and then go to the people and engage, and whatever they say, we put it in the constitutional format and then bring it back to government.
Well, there seems to be a lot of confusion. I mean, what is taking us back and forth all the time?
It's the political will.
It's the political will.
Yeah, it's the political will. Both the National Assembly, the oppositions, and the executive. because the political will should be on both sides, the National Assembly, the executive, and also the political parties, the political actors, the key.
But that's a difficult one for everybody to talk, in one voice.
Yeah.
But
now, what kind of a country do we want? As a country, we have to think about this.
Absolutely.
What kind of a country do we want? We said Jammeh's constitution. That is what we normally say. Now, how do we want to move from here?
Jammeh to Gambian constitution.
Yes. So what do we want as a country? We have to ask ourselves. What do we want?
I think that's where the problem is.
But
we don't really know what we want.
But we should sit and discuss and chart the way forward. We cannot agree on everything.
Shouldn't always be partisan.
Yeah, exactly.
Politics,
so we should chart the way forward.
I think the literacy level also plays a very important, it plays a very crucial role. I mean, at some point, when you look at the number of people that have that understanding, how are we moving forward as a country?
Yeah.
I mean, education also plays a role.
I agree. Education, awareness, some people are educated. They have gone through the conventional school.
But they are not aware.
Yeah, but sometimes when they speak, you tend to wonder, wow. Question, wow, what is this guy saying, For me, I think we need to sit as a country and discuss and chart the way forward. There are certain things that they cannot be possible without a new constitution, a very progressive constitution, because this constitution gives the basic, is the bedrock of all the institutions, all the powers, all the rights of citizens.
It's the Quran of every country.
Exactly, it's the Quran, if you want to say, or Bible. Of the country. So this is the basis. So you need a very progressive constitution that will help us to move on as a country. For example, the powers of the local councils. Also, if you look at the 2020 draft, it's very progressive. The devolution of powers, the decentralization aspect of it, which was clearly spelled out in the 2020 draft. But looking at the 2024, is the same system. It's even probably more restrictive in terms of issues around that.
So on the Foroyaa newspaper, we have a story, journalist Pamudu Bojang wins $15 million lawsuit for unlawful
They still want
detention.
to keep me here.
Yeah, I think this is the last one.
No, we have the last story now, MS.
Yeah, but that's good. Pamodu Bojang filed a case, I think in 2018, right?
Yes.
Incident. Now, for me, it took a lot of time in terms of justice. It's delayed. Yeah, but finally he got what he wanted to have. So for me, I think it's a plus, showing that our judiciary is very independent. Though they also have their issues in terms of cases, and they will always tell you they are handicapped, because there are a lot of people that are in mile 2 remanded. Some 5 years, they cannot access justice, some of them. But this is good. I'm hoping that government will implement the court order. For me, we need laws that will ensure that whenever the police, when the police is found wanting, but I don't know how that can be possible. Maybe it's an elusive idea, but the IGP should be the one who should be held to account, because you have to pay for this. For example, the Alhaji Bora case, they detained Alhaji Bora unlawfully and he went to court. They realized that, he was detained unlawfully. Those are things that you cannot do as a police. You cannot be violating the Constitution and people's right to access justice.
And at the end of the time, this big amount of money, sometimes they put it on the paper, but getting it...
Even now, I'm not sure whether Alhaji Bora got... But it is coming from the coffers, the government coffers.
Yeah.
It's the taxpayers' money, that will also pay this guy. So what I was saying is,
look at that.
It's the IGP who should be paying. If the IGP did something that is unallowed, something, probably it's not the IGP directly, but it's under his purview. You know, if something is done, the IGP should be paying, you know, from his salary and allowances.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I don't
because
know.
at some
because
point,
he's acting also on behalf of the state.
At some point,
Yeah.
but your
people
actions
should be held to account.
But your
Account,
actions,
yeah,
you should
that's the
also,
ultimate
I
goal.
mean, take a good look at your actions, because it might cost the nation a lot. And that's this case, I mean.
Yeah, it's costing the nation, because it's the nation that is going to pay again. 15 million and 200,000. It's like 15 million.
And you know,
15 million for the compensation and 200,000 for the legal fees.
and this is becoming something like a repeat. At some point,
yeah.
a few years back, I've seen a Banjul young man also beaten,
cheaper,
and detained.
I think it was the National Human Rights Commission.
And he was
intervened.
compensated as, he was said to be compensated.
I think, that was, maybe you can say, compared to this amount, is
Yes.
lesser.
Yeah,
But still now it is coming
it's
from
still
the state
from our
coffers.
coffers. I mean, you know.
I think the police should be more
Yeah,
professional
absolutely.
and allow people to access justice. Let them. This is not even a good thing, you know. But the courts are working, and you know, we're hoping that they will have more capacity to ensure that.
Let's talk about the
issue
of the filming of the young lady and the young man. I mean, few weeks back, around the riverside by a police officer.
Yeah, that was so bad.
You see, we're still talking about ethics here and professionalism.
Yeah, that was so bad
as well.
I'm hoping that the police will address it drastically. You know, those things, we cannot condone them. You know, from anyone, not individuals, not the police, not anyone.
Yeah.
You know, because you cannot be assaulting people, battering them, and making all sort of things, you know, within a very civilized society. When we call ourselves civilized society, some of these things cannot really, we cannot, people you should protect. You are now abusing them.
So it's telling you how people of authority sometimes think.
Yeah.
and when they think like this, Emma, then it's a doomed society, because it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
You don't calculate your moves and steps.
Yeah.
Instead, you protect these people.
Yeah.
Now you are abusing them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is what we are seeing.
The
so
fence that
now.
should protect the crop is eating the crop.
You see?
Then the crop will not survive.
MS, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
You know, and we hope to catch up. I know now you have a lot of time. Now we'll be inviting you more.
No excuse for you.
Now we'll be.
Don't say that. You know, last minute thing, you called me yesterday. Well, you have to plan it. And then
we want you to come and be appearing here, because
I don't have time still.
Yeah, I know, but you've done your quota now.
You've done well.
Thank you. Well done.
Congratulations.
Well done. We appreciate, I mean, your job, and you know, we look forward to guiding. Please don't go far.
No. I'm always open. I told them, she's my vice president. She was, rather, you know, my vice president. We've worked closely, so she knows how to reach out to me. You know, anytime I'm available. The GPU, I'm still a member of the GPU, and I will still be a member. It's an institution that I love so much. That I will not just leave like that.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, MS, for reviewing the papers and also discussing your, during your mandate, I mean, your achievements and, you know, what you intended to achieve before you leave. And I am pretty sure the incoming, you know, team would definitely follow the steps and also achieve some of these things, because at the end of their tenure, they will also be asked, what have you done?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, we are proud that we presented both our financial and activity report, you know, and it was unanimously accepted. Imagine, you know, journalists are more than critical.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so you know, we are critical thinkers, obviously, you know, and then so that was a great thing. We were not alleged for any corruption, any malpractice, any abuse of office.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, so that's a pride.
That's a good one. So viewers will take a short break. After the break, then we'll talk to the chairman of the National Human Rights Commission. We'll be right back.
Q Money and Orange Money has just made money transfer easier. Now you can send money from Gambia to Senegal directly from your Q Money wallet. So what are you waiting for? Get your Q Money account now and start sending money to your friends and families through Orange Money in Senegal now. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Q-Money e Orange Money joni weɓini nuldugol mbuɗi mi yetoma joni hiɗa wawi nuldude mbuɗi iwra ko Gambia ɗo yaha Sénégal e Q-Money wallet ma on eyyi ko honno wonɗa e fadde mi yetoma udduto Q-Money account ma on joni fuɗɗoɗa nuldude mbuɗi e teriɓe ma rewa ɗon ka Orange Money nder Sénégal fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi hiɗa wawi noddude Q-Money customer care e 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe ɗum no yaadi e sartaji. Q-Money anin Orange Money ye bulodi nyola pour ka kodi kio sone yandi ka bonan Gambia banko kan kata Senegal banko kan anin Q-Money wallet e ka mune batu e muna fan Q-Money account wala sign pour ka dati ka kodoki e terimal anila dimbayal kana anin Orange Money Senegal ni lafta ku Senegal sotola je Q-Money customer care kumandi 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe ñing sartolle bala Q-Money ak Orange Money ñoo lëkkaloo pour yombalal leen yónnee xaalis bàyyi ko Gambia dem ba Sénégal ak Q-Money wallet looy toog di xaar dawal léegi nga ubbi Q-Money account pour nga mun a door di yónnee xaalis sa xariteeg sa mbokka yi jaarale ko Orange Money Sénégal léegi pour am si lu leer mun ngaa call Q-Money customer care si 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe lii dafa ànd ak sarta yuñ tëral.
Mitoma. First time cross, really threatening, and it's dropped for Minte, rifled in! Out.
Did you know you can buy cash power using QMoney wallet absolutely free up to 30,000 $? Use our app or dial 323# and select QPower. Choose Register Meter. Enter your meter number. Dial *323# and follow these simple steps. Number 1, select option 3 for QPower. Number 2, choose option 1 to buy any amount of QPower. Enjoy free QCell airtime every time you cash in to purchase QPower. For any inquiries, call 133. Q-Money, Sunyu Kalbe.
Mitoma. First time cross, really threatening, and it's dropped for Minte, rifled in! Out.
Hidandi da wawi sodude cash power e Q-Money wallet maong te ayobata hay hunde ida wawi sode ko yehi ha guluji $30 ko watano webi wadu dial *323# jokka sartaji ding suboda option 3 fi QPower on tumasi suboda register meter number sa gaini natina number meter maong wadu dial *323# jokka sartaji ding suboda option 3 fi QPower on tumasi suboda ko jelu falda sodude a wawa heɓude ko ɓura andrere free QCell airtime wattu kala soduɗa QPower fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi nde wawi noddude 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe We are back. You're watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde, and on the platform I'm with Jules Denjai. Now let's move on to the third segment of this program, and we'll be talking about the National Human Rights Commission train, police officers on prohibition of torture. It's important for us to discuss this, and we have the chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Emmanuel Daniel Diouf. Good morning, Mr. Diouf.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so, when we, discussed this on one of our topics last, I think, few days back, and we said, okay, this is very important. Why not we engage Mr. Diouf on this platform to tell us the importance. What motivates the National Human Rights Commission to conduct this training?
Yes, it is the mandate of the Commission to promote, protect human rights, investigate human rights complaint, monitor human rights, but also the act that establishes the Human Rights Commission mandates us to build the capacity of law enforcement institutions, and the police is one of them. So it's part of the broader mandate that has been given to the NHRC. The ultimate aim of it all, of course, is to bring back a culture of rule of law and human rights, and to make sure that due process is followed in everything that is done. So that being the case, it falls under our purview to make sure that we conduct these kind of trainings for law enforcement institutions. So that was it. But it was not only that. The TRRC, in its recommendation, mandates the National Human Rights Commission not only to monitor the implementation of those recommendations, but it also gives us an implementation mandate. And one of them is to review the training curricula of the security personnel and make sure that human rights, international human rights modules are incorporated, modules on international humanitarian law, and modules on sexual and gender-based violence are also incorporated. And I think you covered it. So we came up just 2 weeks ago, before the training that we had with these modules now, which is for the security forces that we have. Yeah. So these are the many things. Is this just part of our broader mandate to carry on this capacity building initiative? But I'm sure we will dilate on the issue of torture, because we also felt that today in the Gambia we have an act, Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act. It's not NHRC law. It's a law that has been passed by our National Assembly. And that law criminalizes torture. I will elaborate on that so that you. So if you have a law that criminalizes torture, I heard you talk. You were talking to the GPU.
Outgoing president.
Exactly. It now puts police officers, law enforcement, and others in, and it actually now criminalizes torture. Apart from just suing them in court and being awarded damages, it actually carries fines of $1 million, 15 years imprisonment. So it's important that the police know what this law is all about, because they deal with the people on a day. They've been given mandate to investigate crimes, to apprehend suspects, detain, prosecute, and of course the way they do it, it has to be in accordance with law. And then we have this act which now regulates. So what this law is doing, if you do more than you're supposed to do, torture, inhumane and degrading treatment, then you will actually be prosecuted as a law enforcement officer. So we just felt that it was important that we, as an institution that has been mandated, to raise their awareness. It was just for them to understand, hey, what does this new law says? You know, it's important for them to know. So that was why we carried out this 2 days training at Bakadaji. It was for 30. We'll not only stop there, but these were 30 police officers selected from the PIU, from the charge office, serious crimes unit, station officers, because these are the people who usually arrest, detain, put people in cells to tell them, hey, this is what is the new dispensation, and how to go about the process of arrest, detention. There are certain international rules that governs. You don't torture people. We have the Istanbul Protocol. You have the Mendes principles, which guides police officers on how to go about interrogation without beating the hell out of people. Those kind of things. So this is what we were doing.
So
But yes,
how was the selection done?
No, the selection was done by the police themselves.
Okay.
Yes, we worked together with them. We sent them a concept note. And they said, okay, the people that are really affected or impacted or who you deal with arrest, detention, PIU. That's why this is how it was selected. And so they made the selection based on the concept, what we agreed was going to be part of the training.
So since 2017, there has been numerous trainings of the security forces as part of the security sector reform. So how is this particular training structured to ensure that there is practical knowledge, but also there is a behavioral change in the way these police do their thing, especially in terms of torture?
Yes, okay. Perhaps we should go back memory lane. What the TRRC revelation showed us was that in this country there was widespread systematic human rights abuse. Yes. It's a fact. It's no longer Emmanuel Diouf saying it or the National Human Rights Commission saying it. It was there. And practically everybody was a victim, whether it was the journalist, politician, businessmen who fell out of favor with the government, lawyers. It came out. It came out, and people were really beaten up. And of course, even the former head of state used to boast, "I'll take you to my 5-star hotel." And we knew what happened in that 5-star hotel. People were really beaten and tortured, and all kinds of things happened. And of course, when the TRRC revelation came with the recommendations, the Gambia decided, listen, even the forming of the establishment of the TRR, of the NHRC is as a result of the transitional justice process, so that we will not go back to where we were. So, but just to answer your question, then we started this training. But you have to also understand that changing attitudes is difficult. It doesn't happen overnight. If you ask me, has there been improvement? Yeah, compared to before, there has been improvement. Do we still have issues? Yes, we have. And we have cases where people are still detained unlawfully. The police are using excessive force. These things are happening. But I will tell you, I just heard the courts are coming out and telling them, you can't do that. And they're actually giving awards in favor of victims, complainants. So, yes, there has been trainings. It's still work in progress. Much needs to be done. And then this act that we're talking about is only in 2023. It's a new act. Then came the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023. Again, this is reinforcing the fact that when you even apprehend criminals or allege suspects, when they're going through the criminal justice system, you do not have the right to torture people. And if you torture them, you will be prosecuted. You see, before, what happens is people go to court and they quote the provision of the Constitution, Section 21, and the courts will listen to you and then they will award damages. The difference now is we're not just talking about awarding those who actually committed torture, those who encourage you to commit torture, those who ignore you. So if you have a station officer, he knows, or the inspector or whatever, that torture is taking place and he didn't do anything, he'll also be found liable. Yes, so that is why we said it's important that if we have a law, that the police, who will be very, very much affected, especially, should know what this law entails, so that they can change their methods, because down the line, they will be affected. So this was the whole idea of the act itself. And in the TRRC revelation, you remember when it came out, Bakausu Fofana, Imam Babali, nobody was spared. I talked about politicians, everybody. So torture was rampant and widespread in this country. And what this Torture Act is doing, not only is it prohibiting and preventing, it criminalizes. So, for example, if you have been found guilty of torture, the courts can send you to jail up to a maximum of 15 years. Maximum. Up to a maximum of 1 million fine. I'm just explaining to you. So it's...
how severe?
I'm not even talking about... Then it also has compensation for the victim.
Okay.
But I'm talking about the individual. You know, he was talking about...
So the individual must spend the 15 years?
Well, up to. It depends. Yes.
On the gravity of the...
Yes, it depends on the gravity. In fact, there is what is also called even aggravated torture. If, for example, the person dies, if the person is incapacitated, if the person is a person with disability, if it is a pregnant woman, if, for example, in the process, the person contracted HIV/AIDS, they do all these things in funny countries. They even inject you. It says aggravated, if it is proven that it was aggravated torture, you can be sent to jail for life. No, this is serious. I remember it was saying, well, why can't people face their pockets? This is actually fine. You yourself will be fine. I'm not just talking about the state. You understand where now we're. So it was very interesting hearing him saying that maybe we should make people individually liable. This is what this act is doing. And it's important, therefore, that everybody knows. You see? But let us also be fair. The act also realizes, it says that, for example, reasonable sanction, reasonable force. If a police, for example, in apprehending you, handcuffs you, or they restrain you because you have been aggressive, that is not torture. Because they also have Yes.
I wanted to ask, I mean, in fact, what is the category? Okay, to what extent should we go and we call it a torture?
Yeah, so there is a definition. I don't want to be very legalistic here, but maybe just quickly, so it has to be, when you talk about torture, it has to be an act or omission of severe pain or suffering that is intentionally or inflicted on a person, or at the instigation of or with the consent of someone else. You see, so it could even be your inspector saying, torture him, beat him. But so the definition is there, but it must be done in order to obtain information, like you're beating somebody to get information, or to punish the person. You've done something. We believe you've done something wrong. You beat the hell out of them because, or threaten to beat them, or threaten to maybe beat their wives or harm. And yes,
even the threat.
Yes, even the threat. That's why we felt it was important that they understand the process involved. Intimidation or coercion, even, so, and it has, as I even said, then aggravated form of torture as well. But even if it is felt that it has not reached the threshold of torture, there is another offense which is called inhumane and degrading treatment and punishment. You see? So even if, for example, the court said, well, maybe it's not torture, but the word was done was inhumane and degrading. You can just think about what inhumane means,
Yes, inhumane conditions.
Inhumane conditions, or make them, I don't want to say, but there are things that you can, and the court, there is jurisprudence giving examples what constitute inhumane. If that is the case, and is proven in court again, that individual can be fined up to $500,000, and they can face up to a maximum imprisonment of 7 years. So you see where we are going now. We have, and it's important that everybody knows this. And why are we doing this? You see, when incidents of crime goes up in this country, and when it goes up, people will say, you know why? It's because of human rights. No. Human rights, we do not advocate for criminality. In fact, we support the work of the police, because, and we know that the police have been given these powers to protect life, liberty. If you have a fully functional police force, you can sleep well at night. Not so.
True.
Yes. So I think we should move away from the fact that whatever human rights says is anti-police. No, it is not. What we say, and in fact, what we're doing is to make sure that the police do their job properly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. We're just warning them in advance that be careful. Now you have a law, and my friends, the lawyers, will be ready. Yeah, you will. So what we're doing is to make sure that they are properly equipped. So the training was not just about the act, but the training was also about other procedures and processes to help them in their work. I've mentioned the Istanbul Protocol and the Mendes principles, which help police officers to do their work properly. You see, even if you get information through torture, it's not admissible in court. It's not. If it is proven that the person was tortured, your case goes out. But what this act is also saying is saying that not only we will not use the evidence obtained through torture, we will use the fact that the person was tortured to prosecute you. I don't know whether you understand. Exactly. So it is an act. It's passed. It's not passed by the NHRC. Yeah. The government passed it because they felt they had ratified the International Torture Convention, the UN Torture Convention. And the government wanted to be in tandem to show everybody that, listen, we also as a nation, not only do we say in our constitution that torture, we do not condone torture, but we have now joined the rest by criminalizing torture. So this is the difference. And this is why we had the training for them. And we'll roll out the training also because during that period, I forgot his name, Coley, Superintendent Coley, who was part of the training school, he said, he said, listen, we want you after the break to roll it out in the regions for us because our officers are there. We need to know how to handle cases properly. So just to clarify that it is not just the NHRC getting up thinking that we're pointing fingers at the police. No.
So what challenges, does the NHRC face in changing police attitude as far as torture is concerned?
Well, I've started by saying that usually attitudes is difficult to change.
It is.
The NHRC have been working clear. We also have quasi-judicial powers. If you remember the case, we have dealt with cases that are not even out here because we have quasi-judicial powers when we receive complaints.
Okay.
We have actually made, for example, the drug law enforcement give compensation to people. I heard you talk about the Tshirt case. He came to us, and we wrote to the IGP. And not only he was compensated.
Yes.
The matter didn't even have to come to court. If you remember vaguely, some years ago, the late Gorgimbub, where again with and was it Ibrahim Assise, we actually conducted an inquiry where he was the police paid money and he was redeployed. He was taken out from anti-crime.
Yes.
So we do these things. Do we? It's not always smooth. We have had some challenges in the past. As you have different police chiefs coming, some will even see the NHRC as an irritant. Who are these people? All of a sudden. But the NHRC is not a civil society. The NHRC is an oversight state institution which has been mandated. So yes, occasionally we do have kind of a pushback, but the law gives us the powers for you to, when we ask you documents, to produce the documents.
Okay.
And there are ways in which we can escalate it.
Okay.
Yes, there are. We try not to escalate it because our job is not to embarrass any
human right.
Yes, institution. But and of course, we report directly to the National Assembly. Yes, we do.
Annually.
Okay.
Yes, did it? No, but not annually, but also anytime, because it's the National Assembly that has supervisory jurisdiction over us. We do not report to any ministry.
But I hope they don't have control over some of the activities that you do as National Human Rights Commission.
Like, what are you thinking?
You know, maybe they might affect some of your, some of the decisions that you want to take.
In fact, the National Assembly wants us to do more. You know, we usually deal with the Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs. Usually, they want us. They even summon us for advice when there is a bill. They want to get our opinion, and we work very closely with them.
Okay.
We even had a retreat, 3 days retreat with them, to look at the criminal procedure bill and the criminal code. So we have a good working relationship with them. And of course, we report, we submit 3 reports to them. One is the State of Human Rights report every year. What happened in the country. So if, for example, the Office of the IGP refused to do X, Y, and Z, you will find it in that report. And we'll tell the National Assembly they are not complying. And they can call them. And they call them and they call us. And we also, apart from our activity report, we also report on the status of the implementation of the TRRC. That also we do. Because they call the government and say, hey, you said you were going to have a reparation act. And these things are good because we report. The government makes sure that they have also their list and say, hey, we need to do this.
Share boxes,
Oh yeah. So this
at least someone is there at least to control.
Someone is there.
Yes.
Yeah, the challenges are also there because sometimes there is a pushback. Also depending on the personality of the person. You have some who have big egos. Not so in every office.
Yes.
But our job is to tell them this is nothing to do with you, ego. Like I'm chairperson tomorrow when I'm not chairperson, I will not have the power. So we are doing our job. If you are IGP or if you are a commissioner, we are doing our job. Let's respect each other's job. We do have that, but we have a way of solving it. And there is, and over the years there has been greater understanding of these things. But if you have an oversight institution, it's always like that. People don't like anybody. They don't like oversight institutions because they think you are nosing. People don't like auditors. People don't like human rights.
True.
It's normal. But we also have ways in which we go around these things.
Human rights activities is a problem.
Matter,
Yes. But you see, human rights is everybody's business. And this is important, especially the issue of torture. As they all sat there, the police officers and some of them have been before perpetrators of torture. They have done it. Some of them have actually suffered during that period. You know, I don't know whether you remember, there was a particular period when the Inspector General of Police was in jail. You know, the former Jesus. The Minister of Justice.
I can remember.
Minister of Justice was in jail. The Solicitor General was in jail. Head of Secretary General was in jail. You have all this, and some were actually tortured. So we can all be victims of torture. So even if you are in that position, don't feel that you can be. So it's important that we have laws that protect all of us. It doesn't matter what status we are in. People find themselves in jail. Sometimes they never expected they were going to be in jail.
True.
You'll be very surprised. If you go to the Mile 2 prison, you'll see people who say, hey, but we should make sure that whenever all of us are going through the process, we should not be tortured. Torture is criminal in this country. I'm not saying it. It's the law that has now been put in place. The Prohibition and Prevention of Torture Act 2023 criminalizes the use of torture, inhumane and degrading treatment. It didn't even stop at torture. It says also inhumane and it has fines and imprisonment for if someone is convicted. So it's important that we understand it in this way, and we also give the police the powers that they need to be able to do their job effectively.
I wanted to ask the right of the police as well.
No, it's very important. And that's what I said. One, we must understand that the police also have been given the powers. It's their job to investigate. It's their job to apprehend suspect. The law gives them the powers to detain, but of course they have to do that within a reasonable period, not so.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
after, you cannot hold people more than 72 hours without bringing them before a court of law. It's the court that will now decide. The law says that you cannot also beat people. So what we are saying is, yes, the police have their job, but they should also be resourced. We know salaries are bad for police officers.
True.
We should pay their, we should give them the tools that they need to do their job. And yes, but this is also what we, if a society, if we are going to progress, everybody has to be on board. And the police have the right, have really right, not only that they suffer assault as well.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah,
there was that
especially-
shooting of the, not only here, there was one near Nugukebe as well.
Yeah.
You remember the three of them that were shot. So I think 2 died. Yes,
Yeah.
not at Sukuta Junction. So they in doing their job also, it's a hazardous job. And maybe they should be paying them hazard allowance, among other things.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. No, really, if we are going to have a society that the police force should be given the tools, they should be properly remunerated and be allowed to do their job. But
Yes.
but nobody is above the law. I think this is what we're saying. All what we're saying is do it in accordance with law. And because they have been given so much power, naturally, if people are given power, power has to be checked. You know, if you give me all the power, hey, I'm sure there are a lot of things that I will do. But we all have to do things in accordance with the law. So that's what all we say. But that's why we said, let's build the capacity of the police. Let's make sure that the police do their job. But also warning them that it's not only the NHRC who will now flag and tell them you're doing things wrong. They may face this not only as the police, but individually.
Yeah.
He mentioned it, their pockets. Fining and imprisonment is directed to the person who has actually committed the torture.
Absolutely. So what are we doing to decentralize this training? It's very significant.
No, and so as I've mentioned, during the 2-day training, this request actually came from the police themselves, because they felt it's so important that we should roll it out. We should roll it. We had these 30 people were key, but it should roll out, and we will do that. It's part of our job. And this particular training we did was with funding from the British High Commission. We get core funding from government, but we have been our act allows us to resource mobilize, and we do that. If you've been coming to our trainings, you see that we are very good at making sure that we get funding to do all these activities. So definitely, inshallah, by next year, 2025, we will roll out this kind of training throughout, so that people can understand, the police understand, and also let individuals understand also that they have to be law-abiding.
True.
We cannot have a lawless society. And I guess this is what people say, you don't talk about. We talk about every time that people, you have duty bearers, who are those who have been given the powers, the police and the executive, but you have also rights holders. But we have to we have to also abide. When we say rule of law, it's everyone. Yes, the police are given all these powers, but also as human, you will be very surprised. Human rights violation can be vertical and horizontal. It's not just always coming from top, bottom. Individuals themselves, we violate the right of other people all the time.
That's
true. So this is what we need to understand when we talk about human rights. So so you can also torture somebody, not so.
True.
So
okay. So what about that torture between people, not the security
it says even private and so it doesn't only have to be some
because
public officer.
There was an incident where a young man around the provinces URR who took a little boy in a building and tortured the boy to death.
All in the name of discipline.
So well, exactly. Although you could have gotten them by other criminal code, but this particular act is very specific. So you are right. So people must also understand. But of course, we have to start with the police, because usually this is where the complaints usually come, because they deal with people. Yeah, but it's a law that people, we must know what it entails. I'm sure a sitting like this will not allow us to go into details, but in other forums we will go more into detail so that people are aware what the law and this is what we do. it's not just having the law. People must understand what the law is all about. As you know, they usually say that ignorance of the law is no excuse. So we are making sure that nobody,
so you need to know the law.
People are not ignorant. So we are making sure that people will not be ignorant.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Ju, for coming on the program. I think we are enlightened. And
Again,
you know, at least
to
now
talk
we
to
know
us about the state of human rights in the country, like they do.
Absolutely, it's better to be careful, especially if you have security out there, because I mean the law is here, and you can say I don't know at some point. If you are, you know, wanting, at some point the law will take its course on you. Yeah. So thank you very much to you.
I was happy to be here always.
Yes. So we hope to engage you in the future.
Thank you.
I mean. I know accessing the National Human Rights Commission for invitation sometimes because of your job, you are always busy, but we keep trying.
No, my director of legal can also come. I don't have to. So sometimes I will come, sometimes we'll send somebody else also to come.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so viewers, this is all we have for you on QTV this morning. And thank you very much, Julde. And I hope, are we doing this tomorrow?
No, we're not doing this tomorrow.
Mr. Mboji is coming back tomorrow. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.